So the next thing we have to look at is our exploratory data analysis. So exploratory data analysis. So the first we are going to start with is the univariate analysis, right? Now, when we are talking about univariate analysis, as the name implies, it simply means we are visualizing each columns in the data frame to actually draw more insights on them, right? Now, let's just go ahead and display the columns we have in the data frame again. No, please, let's just go ahead and do df.info so we understand the data types of each columns. Now, as you can see, we actually have just two categorical columns, which is actually the travel again and the room type. Now, I want us to go ahead and visualize this room type, right, to actually see how many variables we actually have in this room type. Because when they're talking about room type, they should have different types of room type. It could be maybe an executive room type, a presidential room type, or a governor's room type. So we are actually going to create a bar chart to visualize this particular column to actually show the number of variables we have in this particular column, right? So to do that, let's go ahead and say, let's go ahead and to do that, let's go ahead and create figure size, which means the size of the diagram. So to create the figure size, this would be plt.figure fig size. Let's say 8 by 6. I think that should be perfect. 8 by 6 figure size. Then I'm trying to reduce this. We'll bold it again. So this should be 8 by 6, right? So let's go ahead and close this. So the next thing we have to do is create the bar charts. Create the bar chart. Now to create the bar chart, we are going to use Tborn. So we have to do cns.count plots of count plots. So this will be, so x will be equals to room type. That's what we are visualizing for. Room underscore type. Then data is equals to cat calls. Now, why is this cat calls? Remember that we actually extracted the numerical and the categorical columns. Now, the categorical columns is called cat calls, while the numerical column is called num calls. So the next thing we have to do is, let's go ahead and customize the bar chart. So the first thing we have to do is adding a title. To add a title, we say plt.title. So let's call this plots of room type. So the next thing we have to do is, let's add label, plt.xLabel. So the x label should be room type. X label should be room type. Then let's go ahead and do for the y label, plt.ylabel. So let's call this count of room type. Count of room type. So let's go ahead and display this. To display, we use show, plt.show. display bar charts. So this should be plt.show. So let's go ahead and run this. Perhaps you forgot a comma. Port of room type. Okay, it's a port of room type. So let's go ahead and run this. Fixed size is not defined. Fixed size is not defined. So what's the problem? So as we are working on this, we are going to encounter errors and we are going to figure it out together. So fixed size, okay. So we need to put a comma. So let's go ahead and run this again. Another error. Cat codes is not defined. Okay, I think that should be cat_codes, not cat codes. Cat_codes. So let's go ahead and run it again. So this is it. So as you can see, we have successfully visualized the room type, right? We did a count of the room type and we have successfully visualized it. So as you can see, we have four types of room type. So we have the balcony, we have the interior, we have the suite, and we have the window. Now, as you can see over here, that the interior is actually higher than the other room type, right? It could actually be that people actually go for the interior room type, maybe because of it is cheaper or it is more luxurious. It actually depends. So the interior is actually higher. So let's go ahead and write a story. The hotel has 4 different room types and the interior is the highest patronized by the customers, followed by window, balcony, and suites. Alright, so let's go ahead and mark this down. Let's go ahead and reduce this, then run it. So we have successfully written a story for this. So the next thing we have to do is to visualize the travel again column. So remember, when we are talking about univariate analysis, I mentioned that you have to visualize each columns in the dataset individually in order to draw insights from them. Now remember that we have just 2 categorical columns, which are the travel again columns and the room type column. And we have successfully visualized the room type column. So the next thing we have to work on is to visualize the travel again column. And to visualize the travel again column, we are going to be making use of pie charts. Now to do that, the first thing we have to do is we have to do a value count. Remember, when we are talking about this travel again, we have 2 independent variables in this travel again, which is the yes or no. Yes, I'll travel again. No, I won't travel again. So we have to do a value count to actually know how many percentage of customers will travel again and how many percentage of customers will not like to travel again. So to do that, we have to declare a variable. Now let's call the variable travel count is equals to cat codes. So let's go up and say the name for this. Travel again. Travel again. Dot value counts. So we have successfully done a value count for that. So the next thing we have to do is set figure size. So the figure size should be figure. So this should be plt.figure is equals to plt.figure fig size equals to, let's say, 8 by 6 by 6. So the next thing we have to do is create the pie chart. So to create, we actually choose plt.pie, plt.pie. So this will give travel counts, travel counts. Insert labels. This is equal to travel counts dot index. So when I'm talking about octopath is simply I'm trying to customize the percentage, right? That means what the percentage will look like. Will it be like 50% or 50.2%? So to do this, I will say, so to do this, I will say 1% dot 1f percent. Okay, so 1f percent dot 1f percent. Then we have to close this. So let's say colors equals to figure that out later. So then let's do start and go. So this could be the 19, and before we go for the colors. Next thing I have to do is plt dot access, and I will let the title plt dot title travel, let's call it count of travel again. So let's put access plt.access. Let's leave it at equal. Then plt.show. plt.show. So before that, so let's go ahead and set the color for this. So to do that, I would like to use one vibrant color and one dim color code. So my internet is very slow. So I think we just have to go ahead and use black FF1. I'll just input any color that comes to my head. So internet is pretty slow. So let's do FFF. Oh, this will be black 0000. Okay. So let's just go ahead and run this and see what we have. Okay, invalid, perhaps you forgot a comma. Okay, let's go ahead and figure this out. Okay, so this was travel underscore count, comma, octopath is equals to 1 triangle, comma, follows is equals to, okay, this is correct. Now let's run this again. It was never closed. Okay, so how to close this? So let's run this and see what we have. Cat cost is not defined. Cat cost should be defined. Let's just go ahead and run all cells. See what happens. So let's wait for that to run. Uh-huh. So okay. So I think we have a bit of a problem here. Giving me 150% instead of 50. So it's actually rounding it up to 200% instead of 100%. So I think the problem is for here. We said 1% instead of percent one, percent one of 1%. So why the percentage for black is not visible is because the text is written in black. So let's just go ahead and maybe let's go ahead and change this to 2 and let's run it again. So it's the same thing, but as you can see, this has been updated. But let's just go ahead and change the color. Color can we use? Let's use FFF15. Let's see what happens there. Okay, now this is giving us the same color, which is not looking good to me. So let's say FFF455. See if this is any color. Okay, so it still needs to be a bit dark. Perfect. I think this is cool. This is looking okay to me. So I think we figured this out now. So as you can see, we have actually successfully visualized for travel again, which is our second categorical data. As you can see, yes is actually 57%, while 49.3% is actually no. So we can go ahead and tell a story for this. From the above diagram, 50.7% customers were impressed by the services of the company and would like to travel with them again, and 49.3% of the customers were not impressed by their services and won't like to try them again. So as you can see, 50%, it simply means that almost half of the customers of the company will not like to travel with them again, while the other half will like to travel with them. To me, I feel like this is not actually very good for the company. So the company needs to actually check what they are doing wrong. Maybe the cost of their services is too high, or maybe the quality of their services is too low. For me, I think 70 yes, 70, 60 to 70 yes will be perfect compared to almost half of yes and no. So let's go ahead and run this. So I think this was cool this way. So the next thing we have to go ahead and visualize. Now we have successfully taken care of we have successfully taken care of the categorical columns. Now we have to go ahead to visualize the numerical columns. Now let's go up. As you can see, we have about six numerical columns or seven. So I would like us to visualize this using a subplot, right? We are going to visualize this using a subplot. Now, for the numerical columns, we are going to make use of histogram, and we are going to link it. So this is going to be a long code. So I'll just write it down and push it up. So to save time. So this is the code we are going to be using for this. So let's just go ahead and run this and see what happens. Okay, now I'll go ahead and explain this code. So first of all, just like what we did here, we assigned a variable, right, for to the numerical columns. Okay, so then we created a subplot, the figure size. So for here, we actually looped through, right? We looped through each numerical columns to create a histogram. Okay, so we actually here we just showed the histogram and all. So it's just similar steps to what we actually did here. Okay, so as you can see now that each columns of the data frame, numerical data frame has been visualized. All right. So as you can see, this is the distribution of total cost. Okay, and this is the distribution of room cost, and this is the distribution of shipboard expenses. All right. So you can actually go ahead and write a story for each of these, but to save time, we won't be doing that.